Yo, this is Glendon, and you can get the audiobook, The Hustler's Mindset, Pimping Your Mind for Success. The link's below. And now to the video. This is a really sordid tale, sordid tale. Pimping guards for fun and profit. When I was in the storage auction business, I came across a lot of stuff, a ton of stuff. One of my favorite things, all-time favorite things to come across, were prison letters. Because these guys held on to it. Because when you're stripped from everything through your own fault, there's certain things you hold on to, and a lot of these guys held on to prison letters. And some of them were kinky, some were just between guys, like, hey, I'm over here in cell block B, you're down there in cell block ZXY, whatever. But this guy was a trip, because a lot of times when prisoners get out, they communicate with the guys still on the inside because they know what it's like, you know. And I kind of get that, because when I was in the military, long time ago, when people used to get mail and they had mail call, that was the shit. You know, you're just like waiting for your name to be called, and when they call your name, it's like, yeah, you know, you feel like you won the lottery. But if they didn't call your name, you're like Willie Lump over there, like, I mean, seriously, I mean, it was just that powerful. So I can only imagine what they're going through on the inside. But I got this guy's letters, and he was on the outside, and he was doing what he was doing. Lovely stuff. This was when big screen televisions were hot. He had not one, but two very nice solo suckers for $1,000 a piece. Very pimperish, leather, furniture, bedroom set, all this other stuff. And we're just selling this stuff. The room cost me like $450. It was 10 by 20, full from the ruler to the tutor. I get to the middle of the unit and I start filing cabinets, because he was living that life, but he also had a legitimate business, which is probably one of the reasons that he was able to have a normal life. I don't know what happened to this guy. I had no clue. I don't know if he just, I tried to look him up, couldn't find him. But we did very well with his unit, sold his stuff. And a few months later, I got to the letters, and that's when it went from good to gooder. Woo! I'm reading these letters, and the thing is, there's the chronological order of the letters. There's letters he received when he was on the inside from his women, and the pictures. And what's weird is, like, you see letters and, like, there's stuff that's marked out and everything. It's just like, damn, you can't even send a complete, unadulterated letter to a prisoner. If it's got certain things in there, they just, like, mark it out. So, and that's something else, too. Someone's reading the letter before they get it. So his stuff had stuff marked out. Some of the stuff was cool. But that stuff was okay. But the more interesting letters were the ones he sent to his boys back wherever they may be, because some of them are still in jail based on the charges and stuff they had. So some of them, they never get out. So he felt pretty free to talk about the things, because this is what got me. This dude didn't have one relationship, not two relationships, not three, but 4 relationships with female prison guards when he was in. Now, I'm just going to put it out there. He had the S curl. You know, the Billy D. Williams look. You know, for some reason, that look is not in vogue like it was back in my day. You know, he had that S curl look, you know, and a lot of women would just go, oh, look, my panties are on the floor. Wink, wink, that type of dude. And I estimate he was about like 6'4". You know, there was some weightlifting equipment, some boxing equipment in the unit. So, you know, he mixed it up. He kept in shape. Well, I'm reading the letter, and I'm like, he's like, yeah, you know. Because the thing is, it's kind of in code, and I had to, like, you know, put on the detective hat. And it's just like, hey, if you remember old girl from such, and it's like, yeah, and you remember when she disappeared? And, you know, and they were like going back and forth, because he would write a letter and then the dude would write a letter back. And like I said, dude kept stuff in chronological order. It's like he had his letter, well, he had the letters, for some reason he had his letters. Why, I don't know. But it was in chronological order. So he had his letters and the letters that were returned to him in response to his letters, if that makes any sense to you. Well, remember old girl from such and such? Yeah. It's like, yeah. Well, she was out on maternity leave because that's my baby. And I'm sitting there like, what? And I did some research. Fraternization between inmates and guards is pretty common. I didn't know that. I didn't know that. So I'm sitting there reading the letters and I'm cracking up. And then there's a picture of old girl. And I'm just like, they let her be a prison guard? Really? Because, she looked like she could have been on the cover of a magazine. I don't know what correctional officers make. I don't know if they make a lot. I have no clue. But he got her pregnant when he was in jail. And that just kind of like, damn. Even in jail, the S-curl works. So it goes on. I'm reading more letters. And he had another relationship with another chick. And he was just talking about how he had her, polishing the knob in the hallway on her knees in her uniform. I'm like, really? Really? I'm just reading this stuff because it's like good. It's like riveting. I'm just reading the letters and I'm like, call my partner's like, because she loves stuff like that. It's like, you gotta read this. And she's like, oh my God, really? Then I show her the picture and she said, oh, I understand. I was like, what do you mean you understand? She said, oh, I understand. And then there was other pictures where, he had the LD. So apparently the LD is still important, even if you have a convict uniform on, because the LD was locking it down in other ways that you can't imagine. And I'm just reading these letters and back and forth. And then the guy who's still in jail, his response is that he actually hollered. And that's what he put in there. He's like, yeah, I hollered at, I think her name was Hatchet or something like that. And, she's giving me a little rhythm. And I'm sitting there like, and it just got me to thinking, how many relationships, because in the female prisons, it is common for inmates to get pregnant by the prison guards. Because I saw the HBO special, the Discovery special. This happens a lot. But I didn't know that a woman that was free, employed, was dicking down Corey the convict. And I'm just reading these accounts. And I'm not even going to get into it because this stuff's so specific. And if they ever saw this video, they'd be like, that motherfucker got my stuff. It was just blew my mind. And then it gets even better. Because then there's correspondence from the correctional officer, and she's in another state with his kid. And then, he's sending her money because he's doing these activities. He's got activities going on. That's all I'm going to say on that. So he's sending her money, and I see the checks. I'm just like blown away because this dude, relationships with the female officers in this correctional, and his crime wasn't drug related, just to let you know. It wasn't drug related. He was more of a white collar type dude, and don't know what he's doing. Like I said, couldn't find anything about it. But he had that going on, and he had these other chicks, and then that was the prison life. Okay, that was the prison life. Let's talk about out here. There's a term called pimp, and there's a term called player. Neither one of those terms are adequate to describe this dude. This dude had 2 chicks for every day of the month. Not every day of the week. No. Every day of the month. Because I thought I was freaky deaky, but I have nothing on the S-curl. Nothing on the S-curl. Because S-curl was doing all kinds of stuff. Due to the S-curl is the reason I learned about certain clubs here in Atlanta. Atlanta, if you didn't know, there's a lot of sex clubs here. Membership and private. There's a ton. And I was just going through this stuff. And then, of course, he's Mr. Chronological, right? He's got everything in dress right dress. He keeps up everything. And then he's got movies and pictures and Polaroids. Now, I sold the shit out of that stuff on eBay before they shut that ID down. Because I was just like, prison letters. Yeah, I sold that shit, believe it. Because people buy that. People buy anything. I'm telling you. And then, this is how I did it for those of you. I know eBay doesn't want you to contact people because I figure if anyone would buy a prison letter, once they paid me with PayPal, I had their email address, so I would shoot them an email with pictures like, yeah, I got this stuff. Man, what did I do that for? This one dude bought $1,000 worth of pictures. Because, he emailed, he said, to have stuff like this, that's authentic. for a collector like me, you just don't know. This is the holy grail because you just can't buy this shit on the street. You know what I mean? That's what he was saying. So I started emailing all these people that was buying this stuff because this is the thing. And it's just a little tip for you, you know, if you are willing to do this. Now they can get your main ID banned, or you know, because they get one and we get other ones. But for some reason that didn't happen to me with this one because this was my throwaway eBay ID. I was selling all kind of crazy stuff because they used to have this thing like the ticker or the forum or this where people just put bizarre and crazy stuff, and I would put stuff like that over there and it would sell. So I had that. I sold some clan stuff, all kinds of things. I was just rolling with. It was crazy. But I sold more of that stuff off eBay than I did on eBay because this is the thing, because people are like, you know, how do I sell this stuff? It's just you send up a flare and you flesh them out because there are people who are looking for this stuff and they just want to connect with you. Well, I sold him a bunch of stuff, and then when I told him about the movies and other stuff, he didn't want that, but he had a friend who wanted that stuff. Now, I'm doing all this stuff through the PayPal account. But I'm like putting up like, you know, totally completely erroneous descriptions and everything because you can't sell sexual nature stuff through PayPal. Well, no, if you sell it, they can't find out about it. Put it that way. So this is the thing, and I was selling these letters, and this is when I got to the point because I didn't want to meet these people. I didn't want them to know about their units, and a lot of times the people at the storage facility, if you didn't take the stuff like that back, they didn't know it was in the unit. And then it becomes very plausible deniability. But yeah, prison letters sell, Polaroids sell, homemade movies sell. People crave that stuff because like the guy said, you can't get this shit on the street, man. So I'm selling this stuff. I got all this stuff rolling out. And then I find a box that has even more stuff. But this stuff, I don't know why he had it. Because clearly his appetite was for females. But in this box was some of his friends who were in prison, and it was hardcore, homosexual, prison, get down, lock down, get down, okay? And I'm like picking up the box, and if you ever like bought a storage unit and flip up a box and just visibly flinch because you weren't prepared for that shit. Because understand this, you know, he's a whore. He's knocking chicks down like a bowling ball's killing pins, right? I didn't expect that. I expected some more freaky deaky. But being the staunch opportunist that I am, I knew there was a market for that. And I found it. Hardcore homosexual images from prison? Woo! I'm in Atlanta, that's all I gotta say. I found Backpage, did a little ad. That stuff lasted maybe 24 hours. Because it was authentic. So if you get a unit and you get authentic stuff, it can be goofy stuff, it can be crazy stuff. It sells. But Convict was dicking down prison guards. That just, I'm sorry, it just blows my mind. And it also is part of the reason that I am no longer sane or normal anymore. Being in the storage auction business for that long and just seeing all that stuff, it makes you appreciate the normalcy of humanity, whatever that may be. Well, that's your story. I have some more storage auction stories. It's just the Craigslist stuff is predominant because there's way more of that. But there will be more. And as always, I'll see you on the good side. All right. Just looking around. If you want to get in on the Hustlenomics in Sparta, this is a different deal. Don't tell anybody. Don't put it in the comments. Don't email your mom because it's for you. It's for you. Hustlenomics is going to be deep. Just letting you know that right now. So you got two choices. Hustlenomics is $99 since you made it to the end of the video. $99.95 one-time fee. Or you can join the Hustler Mindset. But that's also $99 a month. There's a lot of stuff that's coming. Just letting you know. If you want either one of those deals, what you do is go to storageauctionshogun.com, hit the contact tab, and say, yo, G, I want Hustlenomics for for $99.95 one-time fee, or I want to be a member of Sparta for $99.95. Just send that to me and I'll make it happen. And with that, I'll see you on the good side.